Trump is found not guilty in this trial,
Then we'll deal with that.
Stay with Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back.
All right, guys.
Little room, guys.
Absolutely.
Little room, guys.
DeNiro! What? DeNiro!
Paid sellout for the DNC. Paid sellout. And you want
Piece of you! 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 Marcus! You touch kids! You touch kids! You you! Suck my your mother should have swallowed!
We're trying to be gentlemen in this world, the Democrats. You are gangsters.
Excuse me.
You are gangsters.
You're a softie! You're a nobody! You're trash! You're trash! You're done! You're done after this, my guy!
DeNiro punched Donald Trump in the face!
Go to hell! You DeNiro! Go to hell! That's why he's so worried. When Trump goes
Guys, back up.
Mook, M-O-O-K, Mook! You're a traitor to Italian and Jews! You're a traitor to Italian Jews, you Pablo! You ain't Bobby DeNiro, you ain't He's a Mook! M-O-O-K! Robert De Niro!
Wow. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. As you guys just seen right there, that was a clip of Robert De Niro getting what he deserves after being a pawn to the Democratic Party and Joe Biden. So that was right after a speech he gave outside of the courthouse where Trump is having his trial, where he was basically pandering to the Democrats. And basically, you know, calling MAGA supporters and Trump supporters betraying the country and, you know, they're a threat to this country. Donald Trump is a threat to the country. He didn't really attack the voters, but you know what they mean. When they're attacking Trump, you know they're exactly attacking the people that vote for him because that's who put him in power. So we're gonna watch this clip of the speech that he gave that got him a whole bunch of backlash. And then after this speech right here, we'll look at the reaction from the Trump family, his son, his daughter, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's get right into it.
Anyway, we make room for clowns, to each his own. But no one takes him or took him really seriously. They take him seriously now, of course. But around the country, people who didn't know him as we did started to support him. They bought into his bullshit. Trump bought their votes with outrageous lies and empty promises. He got the most religious evangelicals to applaud a sinner who bragged about sexual assault, and who, just a couple of blocks from here, a jury found him liable for sexual abuse. Somehow he even got self-styled patriots to support a man who called for terminating the Constitution, and on January 6th rallied an angry mob to threaten democracy, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
You know, you could tell that he's told to say this because one, he's reading off paper. He's reading off of a script. Somebody that genuinely feels the way that they feel don't have to read a script. When I make these videos, I don't read a script. I say what's on my mind and what's on my heart because I actually believe it. It was an independent thought that I came to on my own. But people like him have to be told what to say because one, they don't believe what they say. They don't. They're told what to say. They're pawns. And he's in Hollywood, right? This is Hollywood. He's probably protecting himself. We all know Trump is trying to drain the swamp and expose the Hollywood elitist organization that do what they do, if you know what I mean, that are involved, were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. So that's what I believe, to be honest with you. Any celebrity or Hollywood actor, actress, whatever, that comes out and talks for the Democratic Party and talks against Donald Trump, I have a feeling they're trying to protect themselves for something much bigger.
That's why I needed to be involved and wanted to be involved in the new Biden-Harris ad, because it shows the violence of Trump and reminds us that he'll use violence against anyone who stands in the way of his megalomania and greed. But it's a coward's violence. You think Trump ever threw a punch himself or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way. He doesn't get blood on his hands. No, he doesn't. He directs the mob to do his dirty work for him by making a suggestion, an inference. And his gang grovels and follows his obvious order. It's no surprise that the murder rate and other violent crimes peaked under Trump and are falling under Biden. And now he's promising to use our own military to attack U.S. citizens. That's the tyrant.
Bunch of BS.
That's the tyrant he's telling us he'll be. And believe me, he means it. When Trump ran in 2016, it was like a joke. This buffoon running for president. No, never could happen. We'd forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators. With Trump, we have a second chance. And no one is laughing now. This is the time to stop him by voting him out once and for all. We don't want to wake up after the election saying, what, again? My God, what the hell have we done? We can't have that happen again.
Yeah, there you have it. There you have it. So that was the speech that he gave that got him, heckled, and everybody is pissed off at him. And rightfully so, because I don't understand how these politicians or these Hollywood actresses think that they can tell the average voter how to think and how to vote, especially when these issues that we vote on as regular Americans is different from what these elitists vote on. Clearly, because once again, if we're talking about policy and way of life and how comfortable you are, I mean, it's clear and cut, man. I mean, it's really hard to dispute that your life was better under Donald Trump. Your income stretched a lot further under Donald Trump. That's a colorblind issue. That is an issue that affects everybody in this country. Well, except the elitists. That's why they don't care voting for Biden, because, come on, the economy doesn't really affect them like it affects us. They don't probably even know what gas prices or grocery costs. They probably don't even do their own groceries for them to realize how much of a difference it was from 4 years ago until now. How are you gonna know the difference if you've never even experienced that, that shopping experience? Essentially, you went out there and bought something that was $1 4 years ago, now it's $5. How are you gonna know if you never actually did the shopping yourself? They don't know. These people don't know. They have no clue. So before we wrap it up, let's watch this reaction from Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump and his daughter, and then we'll wrap it up.
After watching this trial, do you trust the
Well, guys,
the right decision?
this is amazing. I think Todd Blanche summed it up best. If there was an MVP, if there was a GOAT of liars, it is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is the embodiment of reasonable doubt. And this entire case hinges on someone who has quite literally lied to every single person and body he's ever been in front of. He's lied before, I believe it's every branch of Congress. He's lied before his wife. He's lied to bankers. He's lied to all of you in the press. And he's actually lied to that very jury, and yet he's the only person of relevance that this entire case hinges on. We understand that this is a political persecution. That was evidenced today by the Biden campaign themselves holding a rally here.
And then what's more of an evident is why now? Why is this happening now? All these crimes that he's been charged with is something that happened years ago. Why is he being charged now? Why is it now, after he decided to run again for re-election, that they're hitting him with all these charges? Why not in 2020? Why not in 2016? It does not make any sense whatsoever. If this was serious as y'all are claiming to be, y'all should have came after him years ago. But this timeline, I mean, that's the easiest evidence for me to say that this is a political persecution and it's nothing but a witch hunt trying to get him out of office and election interference. This is 100% the only evidence that I really need. Why now? Why now when he's actually going to be a threat to the Biden administration? Because 4 years ago, right, they could have cheated, they got away with it, blase, but they can't cheat again. So it's easy for them to cheat back then because, you know, you can't be accused of cheating if you've never done it, is how they look at it. But since they've already been accused of cheating, if they win again, like the way they did, it's easy for us to say, hey, you know what, this is, something's weird here. But they can't do that. So all these efforts of them trying to get him, you know, off of the ballots, get him convicted with 91 indictments. If they so many indictments, but it's happening now? If these indictments or if these crimes had happened a long time ago, it would have been easy to charge him with at least half of the 91 4 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. It does not add up to me. It doesn't make sense.
They bring in Robert De Niro, who was shot down, but apparently he needs attention because it's been a while since he's cranked out a good movie. But think about it. They bring out one actor. Remember in 2020 when every A-list actor in the world showed up for Joe Biden? They lined up one by one. Now they get one person. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson disavowed, said, hey, listen, I regret voting for him.
Yeah, Cardi B.
All the people that lined up behind Joe Biden understand that he has failed our country. He has failed the citizens of this nation. Frankly, he has failed the world. But the fact that they're holding a rally across the seat from this very witch hunt, right across the street, tells us exactly what we all knew all along, that it is a political persecution. It is a witch hunt. There is a reason one of the people sitting at that desk was the number 3 person in Joe Biden's DOJ. I know my father is not allowed to say Matthew Colangelo in his name, right? Because he's been gagged. The President of the United States is not allowed to exercise his First Amendment rights in New York City in this day and age. Does that not tell us all everything we need to know about what we're witnessing? It's a witch hunt they're using as a political fundraiser, just like this very judge's daughter has profited from this very case. It is an insanity. It is an embarrassment. It's an abomination to democracy and to our republic. And yet it continues. Everyone in this case is conflicted, and it hinges on one man who's not just a liar, convicted, someone who's lost his law license, has been disbarred, someone who's served jail time for lying before congressional bodies, and that's it. That's where we are today in America. This is a sham, it's insane, and it needs to stop, because if you think for 1 second that this ends with Donald Trump, you have not been watching what's going on in the Democrat Party in the last few years. They want power at any and all costs. Your rights be damned. That can't stand, that can't happen. This sham prosecution, this insanity, this abomination has to stop now.
After watching this trial, are you convinced that the jurors are going to be able to make the right decision?
So I sit here today as a son. Forget about politics for a second. I've been in that courthouse with my father almost every single day. And not a single New Yorker, as they look at murders in the streets, women getting thrown in front of trains, kids getting shot in Times Square, the degradation of this city, not a single New Yorker believes that over $130,000 payment from 9 years ago, from 8 years ago,
that the entire DA's office is lining that courtroom. They're sitting there, they're laughing, they're giggling. This was their moment. This is how they embarrassed Donald Trump. This is legal lawfare. All while this state absolutely melts. Everybody that sits here right now, every single one of you, knows that this is not the same state that we knew 10 years ago. Knew it was not the same state as we saw 5 years ago. You have total degradation of New York State because the only thing that Alvin Bragg wants to do, only thing that Letitia James wants to do, is criminally prosecute Donald Trump. And they're doing it for one reason. They're doing it because they have a political vendetta. They're all funded by George Soros. That's what this is. This is political lawfare, and it absolutely has to stop. And I watch a man, he's the toughest man I've ever seen, and he endures this nonsense every single day. He sits in that seat, and that's not comfortable. He's never done a damn thing wrong. They tried to impeach him in D.C. They tried to impeach him a second time. They went after his Supreme Court justices. They turned the DOJ, they turned the FBI against him. They couldn't stop him. When that didn't work, guess what they did? They went after his family. They went after me. 110 subpoenas later that I've received. I've never gotten so much as a parking ticket. 110 subpoenas. They went after Don. They went after Laura. They went after little Baron Trump.
Facts.
As a young kid, as a young teenager. They went after Tiffany Trump. They tried to make his life hell. And then they weaponized every single DA. They weaponized every AG in every far left area because Biden is incompetent and he's losing in all the polls. Across the board, he's losing in every quantifiable metric. Our country is going to hell. And this is their answer. Go after him for $130,000. And I want to say sorry to the jury that's in there. This has been the greatest colossal waste of time. I want to say thank you to the NYPD. You have thousands of officers down here. Thousands of officers down here that could be protecting our streets. Instead, they're guarding this courthouse against a sham trial. This has cost New York millions and millions and millions of dollars. And New York deserves so much better than this. And I cannot wait for the day that we win. We will. We're right. The entire country knows that this is nonsense. They don't buy it. A poll just came out from the New York Times. Even Democrats, the vast majority of Democrats, know that this case is a sham. And I think we're going to prevail. And I'm just proud of the toughest person I've ever met in my entire life for having the backbone and fortitude to go through this whole mess, as uncomfortable as it's been. And I'm proud to have stood there every single second by his side in that freezing cold courtroom against unthinkable odds and a corrupt judge and people making a lot of money and this political witch hunt. He's an inspiration to me every single day, and he'll be vindicated. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know what else to say that hasn't been said, but I think it's pretty obvious after all of the evidence has been presented now. We can very clearly see, if you didn't already know, that this was never a case about seeking justice. This was never a case about prosecuting an actual crime. This was never a case about protecting the citizens of the city of New York. This is a case about politics, pure and simple. And it is such a shame, as someone who used to live in this city, to see the top law enforcement officer in the city of New York, Alvin Bragg, sitting up in that courtroom, knowing all the resources he pulled together, all the time, all the taxpayer money in this city that was spent to go into this case when, as Eric just noted, you have crime sky high, people being pushed in front of subways, women getting punched in the face in broad daylight in this city, anti-Semitism spewing out of our universities right here in New York City. They're not caring about any of those crimes. They're not pursuing any of those crimes. They care about this, which we know is not a crime. They have not proven anything to be a crime whatsoever, and they will not. Because at the end of this, we all know what it is about. And to the jury, when they realize these people who have wasted 5 weeks of their time in there, that they have been part of a political game, as New Yorkers, I'm pretty sure they're going to be upset about it. This is not the United States of America if this is successful. This is Banana Republic type stuff. And if they can profit off it on the other side, so can we. DonaldJTrump.com. If you want to contribute to help Donald Trump become the 47th president of the United States. They cannot succeed. They will not succeed. We will continue to fight alongside my father-in-law, our 45th and I believe 47th president, for what we know is true and right. Thank you.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. There you have it. So, once again, Democrats are using elitists, they're using Hollywood, they're using propaganda, every single tactic that they can possibly think about to get Donald Trump to not be president again. They're trying extremely, extremely hard, and you know, it's corruption at its finest. If this does not show the American people that the Democrats are corrupt, they're using us, they're playing us, they're taking advantage of us, not only with this political persecution of the president that we as Americans actually want, but also all of the things that they're doing policy-wise. And, you know, taking our funds and sending it to overseas and getting into foreign conflicts that we shouldn't be involved in, printing money and endless of cash being printed and ruining the economy. That's all done by the Democrats. They do this on purpose to keep power, ruin the country. You know, eventually probably they're trying to turn it into one global government with all these elitists that are all in it with the World Economic Forum. But that's another topic. But anyway, interesting. Can't wait to see the results from this case. Hopefully they're not trying to convict this guy, because it is gonna be ugly. I mean, it's gonna be chaotic. So I don't know. I'm excited and nervous at the same time. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about this video in the comment section. And of course, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button, and of course, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell. See you on the next one, guys. Peace.